morning. It's Monday, March 22nd, and it is also officially spring as of Saturday. So exciting. Just finally seeing some nicer weather. It was beautiful out this weekend, all kinds of sun. I was in the gym all weekend with basketball, but at the same time, anytime we could get out in between games, we definitely got out into the sun and took some walks and just soaked it up. It was great. So, we need to talk about a few things this morning before you get going. You'll notice underneath where it says, watch this video, good morning, Alex, expectations and update. We're going to change a few things with that as far as due dates are concerned. So, at the end of every chapter, your Alex that were assigned during that chapter are going to be due. So, what I mean by that, if you look, okay, we have a chapter 7 test coming up this Friday. So, down here at number 3, I've started to put a list of your chapter 7, graded checklist of things that have to get turned in by this Friday, March 26th. And one of those things is Alex, and it's last week's Alex. So the 5 lessons that you completed last week that were due yesterday, those grades are going into the grade book today. But by Friday, so if you didn't do it last week and you end up with a 0 today in the grade book because you didn't do it last week, it has to be done by Friday. The chapter ends Friday, so the Alex is due on Friday. And then you can't go back and redo it. So we've let you throughout the trimester, if you've been missing Alex, we've let you go back and complete it. And so now that we're in third trimester, we've made the decision that within each chapter, you usually have about 2 to 3 Alex assignment grades. Those are just going to be due at the end of the chapter. So each chapter, so like we're going to start chapter 8 after spring break. So as we do chapter 8, those 2 to 3 Alex assignments are going to be due at the end of chapter 8. Same thing when we get into chapter 9. Those 2 to 3 Alex assignments are going to be due at the end of chapter 9. So no more going back and making any up from weeks ago, weeks and weeks, months ago. Okay. So it's going to be due at the end of every chapter. So that means with this checklist, right, you have to make sure you're keeping up with that. I'm going to have that on the agenda now each time just to keep you current. And so you know what has to get done by the end of the chapter. So that's the update on that. The due dates, what I mean by that, as far as due dates changing, is again, your Alex are due at the end of every chapter. So I had a few within like second trimester, and I know some of the other math teachers did too, as second trimester ended. A few were, within the last few days, like, hey, I did, 30 Alex from way back in December when I was missing it. And so that's just, it's not going to happen anymore. You have to make sure you're staying very current with that. Okay. So we won't make those up past a chapter. All right, moving on. So we're going to start with a warm up today. What should be happening if you're watching this video, most likely it's the virtual students, possibly some of the in-person students, but the math teachers today are going around for about 10 to 20 minutes in each of the crews and introducing ourselves. And just so we can see you face to face, we're actually going to start some of those rotations. So you might be hearing me right now today on Monday, or some of you may not, because your in-person teacher, math teacher, is going to come and actually talk to you today about all of this information as it is. So we're going to do a warm-up. The warm-up is linked here at number 1. There's 5 questions on it, and I'll bring it up right now, actually. So it looks like this. There's 2 parts to it. So there's 3 questions here. And then there's a 4 and a 5, a part 2. So there's 2 slides here. So that is linked, like I said, on the agenda in case you need it. I will have it on the video here in just a minute again to pause it, and you can work on it. And then once that warm up is done, you're going to head into number 2, and you're going to do the lesson 4 scale drawing similar figure quick check in Schoology. There's 10 questions on that, and that's an assignment grade. Always your quick checks are assignment grades. So you can take it unlimited times, that. You can use a calculator. You can use your notes. So the similar figures packet, anything that we've done in the book with scale drawings, on lined paper, you can use those notes to complete your quick check. So keep that in mind. You are allowed to use those on those assignments. And that, depending on how you do on it, and how many times you need to take it, it's possible it could take you to the end of the hour. If it doesn't, and you get done with it and you still have some time in your math hour, then again, go back to this number 3, chapter 7 graded checklist and take a look, right? So last week's ALEKS are due this Friday because it's the end of chapter 7. And then Buzz Math, there's 5 lessons that are listed on previous agendas that need to get done by Friday. And then we're doing actually a practice test later this week, so you can't get into that quite yet, but you can definitely get into ALEKS and Buzz Math to end your hour today. So let me leave this on the screen. You're going to work on the warm-up, so pause the video, work on those 5, and then I will meet you back here with the answers. Okay, so finding the scale factor, number 1, you're going from a small shape to a larger shape. So you are going, it's growing in size, right? So you're going from 2 centimeters to 4 centimeters, and you're also going from 6 centimeters to 12 centimeters. And if it's growing in size, your scale factor needs to be times a whole number. So this is going by 2. This is a scale factor of 2 times 2. Number 2, you're going from a larger triangle to a smaller triangle. So it's shrinking in size. So you're going from 18 to 6 and 12 to 4, which means this is really dividing by 3. But we talked about how you don't say the scale factor is dividing by 3. It's times 1/3. You flip it over. You take 3 and you flip it into the fraction. Times 1/3 is your scale factor for number 2. Number 3, finding x. So we can see from 4 to 16 with it growing in size, this is multiplying by 4. Well, if this is multiplying by 4 to find our missing side here for x, what times 4 gives you 8? Because if our scale factor is 4, think about again, what's this missing side? What times 4, that scale factor, gives us 8? Well, it's 2, right? X equals 2. 2 to 8 has a scale factor of 4, and 4 to 16 has a scale factor of 4. X equals 2. Coming here at number 4, what are the characteristics of similar figures? There's 3 of them. So I'm going to come here. There's all the scale factors we talked about. Number 4, here are the characteristics. Same shape, but different size. Corresponding sides are in proportion, and corresponding angles are congruent. Those are your 3 characteristics to be able to identify similar figures. Number 5, you had a story with indirect measurement, and this says a fire hydrant 3 feet tall casts a shadow that is 5 feet long. A person has a shadow that is 10 feet long. How tall is the person? So when we did some of these on Friday, we did some pictures. And so here's my fire hydrant, right? It's 3 feet tall, and the shadow on that fire hydrant is 5 feet. Here's my person that we don't know the height of, that's X, and then the shadow of that person is 10 feet. So if you think about how we set up a proportion to solve, we're going to do the height of the fire hydrant, height of the person. 3 over X equals the shadow of the fire hydrant, 5, over the shadow of the person, 10. And so there's my proportion set up. Fire hydrant over the person, 3 over X, the height, and then the shadows, 5 over 10. We'll cross multiply, right? We've got 5 times X, 5X, equals 3 times 10, which is 30. Divide by 5, X equals 6 feet. So the height of the person is 6 feet tall. Okay, so that takes care of your warm-up. All right. And now, if you're ready, you can start to get into your quick check and go on from there, right? Go through the rest of the list for today. So good luck on the quick check. Again, make sure you use your notes and your calculator. I will see you back here tomorrow on Tuesday. Have a great day.